Ladies and gentlemen, please now welcome George Weah, the President of Liberia.
Your Majesty, Mr. Antonio Tajani, President of the European Union, Mr. Donald Stokes, President of the European Council, Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I'm honored to be here today on the occasions of the 12th Annual European Development Days to celebrate the great strides that the European Union has made in empowering women and your advocacy of gender equality around the world. I applaud the European Union for dedicating this year's European Development Days to the development of women within the context of the Sustainable Development Agenda 2030 under the theme, Women and Girls at the Forefront of Sustainable Development, Protect, Empower, and Invest. In today's evolving world, there has been major progress made in some countries with gender equality. However, in other countries, the rights of women and girls remain a major challenge, especially in developing countries. How can we develop without women and girls are not in development? How can we achieve meaningful economic growth if women and girls are excluded from participating in economic activities? How can we maintain peace and stability if our women and girls are being raped and abused? Ladies and gentlemen, the implications of gender economic disparity and abuse cannot be overstated. Desperate global effort close the gender economic gaps and eradicate gender-based violence. It still remains a persistent problem, especially among young people. In my own country, Liberia, issues of gender equality and sexual abuse, violence continue to be a major challenge. As President of Liberia, it is my responsibility to lead the efforts to address and rectify this glaring disparity in our socio-economic fabric. But I would like to inform you that beyond that, my commitment and dedication to this cause is also on a very personal level and comes from a deep and long-standing appreciation and respect for the strength and the value of women and girls in our society, which I acquired during my childhood upbringing. I was raised by my grandmother in one of the poorest ghettos in Liberia, and in very difficult circumstances. Yet, she was always strong in her conviction that she would not be deterred or defeated by these adversities. She never wavered in her belief that she could make something out of little, and she never gave up hope that she could win in spite of the odds. I am a product of her belief and teaching, many of which remain with me, even up to this day. I will never forget the lesson that she taught me by her own example about the strength and value of an empowered woman. As Liberia moves forward, women and girls' empowerment will continue to be a priority. Although we continue to enjoy 18 years of uninterrupted peace, since the end of our civil crisis in 2003. The severe impact of the crisis on women and girls has left them particularly vulnerable, and as a result, they are finding recovery more difficult than the rest of the population. The return to stability and democratic governance has provided the space to roll out national programs to address these challenges, bearing in mind that Liberia can never fulfill its development objective if the development of women is ignored. As women constitute more than 50% of the population, as the national leader, I am convinced that one of the most effective strategies to correct this situation is to take affirmative actions in the interest of women and girls, such that they will enjoy greater participation in national leadership. This is why, for example, when the National Elections Commission requires each political party to put up a minimum of 30% of women for parliamentary elections, I raised the bar for my party to 50%. And I'm proud to inform you that of those women who had the courage to run were all successful. In the same vein, when I was given a short list of possible candidates to be my running mate during the recent presidential elections, I chose a woman, and she is now the first female vice president in Liberia history. I've also appointed woman to be the first female Deputy Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces of Liberia. And there is also a female who served as Deputy Inspector General of the National Police. Similarly, I have appointed many women to ministerial positions and to board of state-owned enterprises, and intend to appoint many more. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we have also come to realize that discriminations and violence against women in our society, the marginalizations of women, and the almost cautious acceptance of it is indeed embedded in our culture. Moreover, these cultural accepted behavior were exacerbated by our protracted civil conflicts, during which gender-based violence was perpetrated on women by the male-dominant warring factions. Oftentimes, rapes and plunder become accepted as both a weapon and a bootleg of war. It will require persistent efforts to change the mindset of people who for generations have considered this to be a norm. And we will not relent in our effort to do so. But what is most surprising is to discover that discrimination against women is also embedded in our laws, including our Constitution, and runs contrary to all our efforts to eliminate the phenomenon. Laws on marriage, divorce, property rights, child custody, and land ownership all contain powerful clauses that marginalize our women in favor of men. It is my intention to conduct a comprehensive review of our entire body laws to highlight and eliminate those clauses that obviously discriminate against the women of Liberia. And in this regard, We are requesting assistance support from the European Union to carry out these extensive reviews, after which we will engage the national legislature for amendments and revisions where necessary. These measures are intended to complement existing actions and policy that have been taken by the government of Liberia to curtail gender violence and discrimination against women. This includes, among others, the Gender and Sexual-Based Violence Act, the establishment of a Women and Children Protections sections within the Liberian National Police and Rural Women Structure. There is also an executive order on domestic violence, 2018, which places a temporary ban on all forms of domestic violence, including female genital mutilations, for a period of years. It is our intention to renew this executive order as it expires, and subsequently submit a bill to the national legislature to finally address this issue. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, these measures put in place have helped in addressing the situation. However, there is a lack of infrastructure to speedily try and convict offenders. And even when they are convicted, the prisons are overcrowded and are inadequate to keep offenders behind bars for the duration of their sentence. We therefore ask the European Union and other international partners to work with the Liberian justice system in finding solutions to some of these problems. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, besides gender inequality, which negatively impacts our social progress and development, we are also faced with a new security threat in which terrorism, since our troops become involved in the United Nations peacekeeping mission in Mali, we run the risk of retaliatory strikes from supporters and sympathizers of the forces that threaten peace in Mali. Our involvement was solely based on reciprocations of the many sacrifices that other United Nations forces have made to bring peace to Liberia. In the face of this new risk, we are asking the European Union, in conjunction with the United Nations, to work with our security sector to ensure the safety of our citizens and residents within our borders. As I close, let me reaffirm and assure you of the commitment and determination of the government of Liberia to continue to remain aware of the vulnerable position of women and girls in our society, and to do all that is necessary to protect, invest, and empower them so that they may make the fullest contribution and realize the full benefit of our pro-poor development agenda. I now wish to thank the organizing committee, and the entire European leadership for this opportunity to share my view at this event. To all my Muslim brothers and sisters, I say to you, Ramadan Kareem, may God bless you.
Thank you, Mr. President, for highlighting gender-based violence and sexual abuse and articulating your commitment to fight this. Also, thank you for sharing your very personal story about your grandma and how she shaped your views on women and girls today and has led to some of the profound actions that you've taken.